Little Boxes, part 6, and we go right back to the first box that I ever built. I waved it around in part 1 of this series and then parked it because I said that we really needed to build a few more things because you need to plug stuff into this, and this is the Monotron Remote Interface Patchbox, or Monotron R.I.P. Yeah, the name was inspired by the shape of the box, a bit of a coffin, and also the fact that I didn't know whether I was going to kill my Monotron when I started playing around with it. Monotron? I'm talking about the Korg Monotron, a little ribbon synth. I had this bought for me a few Christmases ago, more as a kind of a little fun toy thing to play around with, and in its standard format, yeah, I mean, you get some interesting sounds out of it. But yeah, it's got this little ribbon controller and it's all yeah. But Korg released the schematics for the circuit in this thing, and also very helpfully on the actual circuit board itself they labelled up the solder pads for gate, pitch and cutoff. So the clever guys out there set about hacking this thing and shared their hard work with the rest of the world, including myself. So I gritted my teeth, downloaded the instructions, link is in the description, and set about hacking my Monotron. If you want to see what the inside looks like, this is it. As you can see, the solder pads are clearly labelled and I've soldered my wires onto there. I actually used a USB extension lead and chopped it in half so I could have kind of the 4 fine wires in a format that I could actually poke through the back of the Monotron. So then, using the circuit diagram, I built the interface box. Quite a simple affair. As you can see, it's got the 3 inputs on there. There's gate, pitch and cutoff, and the little switch at the top will either link or separate the pitch and cutoff inputs. So we'll have a look inside the box. Very simple, and see how I put it together. Then we'll plug a few things, well, plug the Monotron into it for a start, that would be useful, and then plug a few other things in there and see what we can get out of it and whether it actually makes the Monotron even more fun to play with. So let's go over to the bench. Right, well, Monotron Remote Interface Patchbox, Monotron R.I.P. Hopefully it doesn't kill the Monotron. As I said before, we've got gate input, pitch input, cutoff input, which via my botched USB lead I can connect to the Monotron, and it connects to the circuit board as shown in the earlier photo. Inside, very simple circuit. I'm going to get it into the camera. It really is just a few resistors. There's a trim pot there, and then on the other side you've got the input jacks and the switch, and then the cable to connect it to the Monotron. that's it. One of the simplest boxes I've built. But we can now connect it up. Of course, the actual patchbox itself doesn't require any power. It's a passive unit. It's just a way of getting voltage, control voltage signals into the Monotron itself. So let's put some voltage signals in and see what it sounds like. Okay, so what we've got here now, I've got the Monotron plugged into the Remote Interface Patchbox, and I'm to trigger the Monotron via the Patchbox. I'm going to use the Keystep sequencer, although I think to start with we'll try and trigger it with some arpeggios. So turn on the but yeah, I'm sticking it through a guitar amp, but there's no processing going on the guitar, there's no effects dialed in. What you might hear, the shushy sound, it's not a noise generator, it generates its own noise. This is a tiny little unit running on something like 3 volts, all in a space about twice the size of a credit card. The circuit's as noisy as hell. It hisses like a leaky tire. It really is. So one of the things when I've actually tried to record this, I've had to take out the hiss in the same way that if you were trying to kind of digitize a cassette tape, you can get rid of the hiss with some noise reduction. Anyway, rambling on now. Let's plug something in. So coming out of the pitch out on the Keystep, plug it into the gate on the Patchbox, and straight away you can hear it's starting to trigger the Monotron. What? Nice filter. It's the same filter design that Korg put in the MS-20, so it's great fun to play with. Really fizzy. Not quite bark. But let's see what happens when we trigger it with an arpeggio. Press the start first. This is with the Monotron set to pitch mode. Of course, you change the LFO on the Monotron. Set it to cutoff mode. dialing in more of the LFO. Dial out the influence of the LFO. Okay. Take it back to pitch mode. Let's try a sequence on it. What I'm going to do now with this is the mod output on the Keystep, which is, it's not a mod wheel, it's a touch strip on the Keystep, but I've plugged it into the pitch on the Patchbox. So I'll stick it into cutoff. A bit sensitive. So there you go. It's a very quick, short demo. There's a whole load of other things that you probably be able to do with this, but you can go dial a few effects in on the guitar. But there you go. A tiny little Monotron, boogieing away nicely. It's not quite VCS 3, but you know, it's a bit of fun. It's cheap and it's cheerful. So if you've got a Monotron, don't be afraid. Have a go. Hack your own. If you've been following this series, you will have seen that I've built quite a few little boxes now, which either generate sounds or modify sounds that other boxes are generating. And yeah, it's all good fun and great to play around with. But you may be thinking, yeah, but you know, they don't follow any kind of standards like the 1 volt per octave or that sort of thing, and they're all a bit kind of just toys really, and you never really use them in a proper music production. Well, no, if you play around and are willing to spend time, for instance, use a chromatic tuner. You can actually tune things like the Avalanche drone, and you can set up all sorts of things. You can set up the Baby 8 sequencer by, again, using a chromatic tuner to tune each of the steps. And then you can play along with other instruments. I had a go at this and I created a track called To Know. The link is here. It's on my prog rock page, another YouTube channel. So if you want to hear what you can do if you are a little bit creative and have a little bit of patience with these little boxes, then go and check out that track. I was quite pleased with the results. So yeah, go on, have a go, build the boxes, make some music. It's all about having fun after all.